Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's another day that the Lord has made, and we are very, very excited to be with you with another Chasing Courage session. And today, my guest is Esther, and you're going to hear about her, and you're going to hear a lot about what God has done in her life that has brought happiness and the hurdles that she's been able to go through so that she's at this point in time. So, as always, allow me to welcome anyone who is a friend, family member, a colleague, somebody that Esther mentors and works with from Tunza Dada. Karibuni sana. Thank you for being with us live. And there are those who are hanging out with her actually right now with us. We may not hear from them right now, but I'm very, very grateful to have good company. Usually we are alone with the guests. So I can tell you, Esther has good quorum that's keeping her company. So without further ado, allow me, as always, to share my screen so that I can formally welcome you to our conversation for today. So happiness and hurdles, the journey of a single parent. That's what we are talking about today. And for those who are new to me, the one thing that I always say as you're listening, always keep in mind that the life that you desire is within reach. And as we are going to listen to Esther's story, I hope you're going to pick a little of that when we are saying the life you desire is within reach, it doesn't mean that you can just stretch out and pick it up. Sometimes you go through moments of challenge, sometimes you go through struggles, but sometimes things come with ease. But at the end, it's okay to have a vision of the life that you desire and then go for it. So for those who are new to me, my name is Wairimu, the ODDacity mentor. I'm a Christian-based mom mindset and life mentor, and I'm also an author. And I work with moms who are prioritizing their personal growth, and I help them design and pursue a life they desire and that God approves without compromising their faith or their family life. And so that's why it's so important for me to hear warrior mom stories, moms who have stayed with their children, stayed with their families, have beaten all odds to be at the place where God has put them right now. So if you're a person who is feeling like you need to do more in your life, you need to have a clearer vision of your life, you need to know what your calling is. I am here, I present myself so that you can be able to work together. So like I said, I'm an author. My book is called Wired Weird, and in it I share the journey to discovering God's cues, clues, and calling in my story. That through my story, God had been hinting at the thing that he needs me to do. But God doesn't just go straight. Sometimes you go through ups and downs and scribblings, but in the end, it all makes sense. And my book is an Akaba Award-winning book, African Christian Authors Book Award. And I'm very delighted to present this. If you may not be able to work with me, at least you can support my work by buying my book. After this live, I'll be able to put links so that you can be able to order, or feel free to DM me, reach out to me on the side, and I can be able to get you a signed autographed copy, especially if you're within Kenya. I can be able to make that book reach you. All right. So we are streaming live currently on my channel at the ODDacity Mentor. And I really want to ask you, if you love listening to stories of encouragement, if you want to be stretched in your personal growth, please consider subscribing so that you can listen to more stories like this one that you're going to hear today, but also teaching. I also have a mom up session where I kind of challenge you to stretch yourself a little bit. So if you love such encouraging, toned talks and testimonies and trainings, please feel free to subscribe. I would really be honored to do that. I'm on the road to 300 subscribers. Like I keep saying, right now I'm at 200 or so. Having a room full of 200 people listening to you is not a small feat. So I'm very, very grateful, even as I request to reach more people with this calling that God has given me. So welcome to Chasing Courage. For those who've never heard of Chasing Courage at all, the purpose of this session and this forum is to educate, to empower, and enlighten moms. But what I found is that beyond moms, there are others who also listen, who get encouraged by listening to the talks and the stories. At the end, my desire is that then you still want to and you still design that and live out a God-approved life. Yeah. So that's the whole purpose. So go to my channel, listen to more of the talks, listen to more of the testimonies. There are those who come and given their stories, but also trained us in their area of expertise. So there's a lot that you can learn. I do mostly the long form trainings. I know there's a lot of people who love short. But if you just want something beneficial, something encouraging, something you can take notes through, please go and subscribe to my channel and listen to as many videos as you can. So if you are with us, last time when we had Chasing Courage, I shared the story of Mary. We were talking about transitions at that time. Please go and listen. I'll make sure again to put a link to the video. I clipped out the part where I was sharing a devotion, and I was sharing lessons from Mary on navigating transitions. And we were seeing how the angel came and told her that you're going to be the one who will carry the Son of God. And Mary said, without hesitation, let it be to me according to your word. That's what Mary said. So I want to kind of take off from there. Let it be to me according to your word. And I was just thinking about Mary, even as I was wondering, what passage can I use to encourage people as we listen to Esther's story? And I felt like, let me do a continuation of Mary, because now she's accepted to be Jesus's mother. But after raising Jesus, an end to her parenting had to come. And that's what we are talking about today in my short devotion. And I always ask a stretch question, or what is a shift question, something that you can think about as you're listening to these stories. If you knew what it would cost you, would you still say yes? Because today, Esther is going to share her happiness part of her story and the hurdles part of her story. If Esther knew what the Lord would take her through to be where she is today, would she still say yes? If Mary knew what she would go through as Jesus's mother up until she saw her son on the cross, would she still have said yes? I want you to think about that as we listen to Esther's story. So my passage for today is actually very short, and that's from John 19:24-27. And it says, while the soldiers were looking after themselves, this is the part where they were cutting up, they wanted to share Jesus's garments, they were insulting him and things like that. So while the soldiers were looking after themselves, Jesus's mother, his aunt, Mary, the wife of Clopas, Mary Magdalene, stood at the foot of the cross. Jesus saw his mother and the disciple he loved standing near her. He said to his mother, woman, here is your son. Then to the disciple, here is your mother. And from that moment, the disciple accepted her as his own mother. And knowing that we started last week, we were just talking about how Mary she was a teenager and she's being told you'll be a mom, and you'll be a mom through immaculate conception. Yeah, it wasn't through her betrothed at the time, Joseph. But she said yes, and she said, let it be unto me according to your word. If she knew that one day she'd be facing this son that God gave her, he was naked on the cross, being humiliated, being shamed, being stripped of all the dignity. If she knew that one day this is what being Jesus's mother would have entailed, would she have said yes? And I believe she would. And motherhood doesn't come easy. Motherhood comes with taking our children to the hospital when they are sick. It's seeing them crying when they've not done well in school. It's correcting them. The Bible tells us, when they are younger, it's good to spank them. It's good to train them in the way of the Lord, so that then when they are older, they will keep on the path that is right. If you knew what you know now, if you knew the cost it would take to be a mom, would you still say yes? So that's what I want you to keep asking in your head. So I have two sources just to encourage us with that small passage, and you can see the source there for further reading. But in this source from Nate Holdridge, it says that during the 6 hours of torment on the cross, Jesus, he was just speaking sparingly. He wasn't talking much, except he talked to God at some point. He talked to those around him, the thief, to his mother, to John. He was not talking to just anybody. Remember, he's been walking with the cross, he's being beaten, he's flogged, he's bleeding everywhere. So he was human. Jesus was fully God and fully man, and the man part of him was breaking down. But Mary had loved her son from the very beginning, even as she beheld the mystery of who he was in her heart. There's a version that says she pondered in her heart. At the end of the day, when we are looking at our children and seeing them become their own persons. We remember the moments of crying, for those who, when you're feeding your baby, maybe you had CSs and you're feeling pain yourself, but you have to feed your baby. Um, for those who've had a rough time raising their children, but yet you look at this awesome person that God has given you in your heart. And I think that's how it was for both Mary and Jesus, looking at his mom who raised him here as a human being. But yet, as they stayed near, as Mary stayed near, as John stayed near, Jesus looked to them, and he knew he would no longer be able to provide for his earthly mother. And so that's why Jesus said, John, here is your mother, and mom, here is your son. Because Jesus was like the firstborn of Mary, really. And so she knew the responsibility of taking care of his mom, as in person was going away. Mary was single at the time. And there's somebody in Desiring God in this article who says, what horror, what did he see in the face of his mother that made him just break to that point where he was like, Mom, here is your son. Both of them, they were broken, but he must have seen something in his mother's face. And Jesus did not only behold Mary at that moment, but he gave his attention to her in his moment of pain, of shame. um, the Bible says it's like the only 7 things that Jesus said on the cross, and part of that was entrusting his mom to the disciple who he loved. So under God, she had raised the man who was God, and even now in his greatest agony, even when he was in pain, when he was being dehumanized, he still loved his mom. He still showed compassion. And I'm hoping that as we listen to Esther's story, let's just know that when we are entrusted to take care of children, in whichever way you became a mom, because there are those who are single parents, maybe because they've lost their spouse. There are those who thought things will work and they didn't work out. There are those who are just left alone once they find out. There are those who adopt a relative's child or just choose to adopt a child through the agency. So single parenthood, as we are going to learn, is bigger than the way society destigmatizes. There's a lot of stigma around it. But I hope you're going to enjoy listening to Esther's story today, and just think about Mary. If she knew what she would go through till that moment when she's seeing her son naked, being humiliated, being insulted, being people, sharing his clothes, would she still have said yes? When you think about all the things that you have gone through up until this moment, especially if you're a parent, would you still say yes to being a parent? So our talk for today is just that: happiness and hurdles, the journey of a single parent. This is actually Esther who chose this title. As all my guests do, I tell them to choose because they are the ones who know their story. They're the ones who know what the best thing for them to bring out. So again, as you're listening to Esther, ask yourself, if you knew what it would cost you, would you still say yes? And so I can't wait to know what Esther will say. So without further ado, allow me to welcome you to our warrior mom for today, Esther. Um, Esther, welcome. Join me.
Wow.
Yeah, so that we can have this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me. Hey, I'm so excited, Wairimu.
me
Even
too.
for even for the intro that you have just had. Like
Yeah.
you have just summarized because as a single mom, my anchor is on the story of Jesus.
Oh,
I
wow.
had to read and reread that story of how Mary became pregnant. Mary, the mother of our Savior. And, the angel came and said, Hail Mary, the Lord is with you. You are
Yeah,
highly favored.
yeah,
But from that favor, what followed, the journey, the fiancé with Joseph, the relocation and all that, it wasn't easy.
yeah,
So thank you so much for having me, even for us to have this conversation. I'm
yeah.
super, super excited.
Yeah, me too, me too. And we worked together in 2022. You came for my
Yes.
program, which we'll talk about way later. But we've
Mhm.
never met physically. So we are friends through this call
The online. I think it's high time we
online.
transition to the physical one
We
after this.
must.
Yes.
we must, and then post a photo for people to see we finally met. But
Yes.
I just want to show how God works, that you can still have a friend who is on another side of the country, and yet we are encouraging each other. We are being blessed through each other's life.
Yes.
So what, even as we do coaching, we don't go deep into stories. So as I was
Yes.
telling you, I'm also as eager as your friends and family to hear your story. So maybe we start with the basics. Please tell us about who is Esther.
Wow. Um, Esther is a lady who wears many hats. Um, Esther Waweru is my name. I'm a born-again Christian. I fellowship at Jesus Celebration Center, Mamboleo. I love God. I'm a lover of God. I'm a mother of 4 babies, 3 biological, 1 adopted. My firstborn is Victoria. She is 15. Then I have Alex, 13, Jaden, who is 7. And then for my adopted girl, she's Patricia. She's 13 years old. Uh, those people make me, the 4 of them. I feel the reason why I rise up every day and work hard. Professionally, I'm an accountant by profession. I just love maths. I love figures. As you'll find along the way in my conversation, language, English is not my thing, but anything to do with numbers, that one I love. So I did CPA. I'm a CPAK. I've done BCom, and I have master's in business administration. I don't know whether it's due to my love of figures and numbers. I work for Kenya Revenue Authority as an auditor. I'm a tax collector. In the Bible, they were not loved so much. They were actually classified among sinners. But that is where I get my daily bread. Also an entrepreneur. I love doing business. I'm a general merchant at Vislex Enterprises. And I love serving God. I have an organization called the Tunza Dada Initiative. That is where I serve God and the community. We work with teenage moms and single moms. So I think in a nutshell, that is me. I'm a lover of life. I love traveling. I love my quiet time. I'm also an author of a book called A Life Gracefully Reshaped. And basically, in this conversation, you'll find that I'm just pouring my life. My story, my life is actually documented in this book because I find myself at a balance of so many mistakes, and also grace found me. So I have that book called A Life Gracefully Reshaped. So in a nutshell, that is who I am. But as we proceed with this conversation, I think we'll get to know each other better.
Yeah, thank you, Esther. It's the way you've first of all, I like that you said you're a tax collector, KRA. Um, I think when we were preparing, I was saying it's nice and encouraging for people to see that we have believers in these institutions, that we stop being afraid. I know we'll share your number at the end, that people can ask a question knowing that this believer will answer and lead me to the right paths. I think we've lost a lot of hope, but to just know that, we have one of us inside there
Yes,
doing the work and doing it well.
absolutely.
It's very encouraging. All right,
Yes.
so you said you have your 4 babies who keep you well. But there's a reason why you chose the title that you did, Happiness and Hurdles, the journey of a single parent. You because you said single parent, I was like, should I write mom? Because my community is mostly mom. I just wrote parent as you chose. So maybe as you're talking to us about your story, and feel free to just flow with your story. Maybe you can start with why you titled your story the way you did, even as share a little bit deeper about this tax collector.
Hey, Let me tell you, Wairimu. You know, they say, let me tell you mine. No, let me tell
Yeah.
you, Wairimu. In the journey of motherhood, I
Yeah.
chose the title Happiness and Handles as because number one, when you're a parent, it's never easy. And now it's even more difficult when you're a single mom. So it's happiness on one hand, it's handles on the other hand. So I tried to reflect on the journey of my single parenting, and it's not easy, but it's a journey full of confidence and courage and grace. So I say, let me encourage a mom there who is going also through things that I went through and I overcame, because there were times I thought that I could not make it. So the reason why I chose the title, sometimes there are people who tend to look at the extreme end. There are people who want to portray that single parenting is just about happiness. It's just a smooth walk. And sometimes they parade themselves in the social media, how they are doing life and no. But I tell you, in the other hand, there are things they will not tell you. So for me, I try to be authentic in a manner that I try to see the happiness that is there when you are single parenting, and also the challenges. And then where do we strike a balance? And how do we make this come around? From your introduction, we said the story of the mother of Jesus. You know, like she's my core person that I try to reflect on. It was never easy on her. Yes, the angel visited and told her that, and you know, for her, it's not from mistakes; it was divine. But it did not like elude the challenge that came along with that. The angel came and told her that you carry this baby. But the angel didn't tell her, you know what? This baby will want to be killed. At one point, this baby will leave you. So I tried to look at even the journey of Jesus and now Mary. Like when I'm going through, I'm navigating my parenting issues with now my kids who are teenagers. I remember Mary at one point was looking for Jesus.
Yeah.
And they didn't know where the baby was. And they found him in the temple. And then when they said that we were looking for you, and Jesus was like, I'm in my father's house.
Yeah.
And I try to relate
A
to that even
teenager's
in,
answer.
yeah, how teenagers, you talk to your son and the way they're answering to you. So the
Yeah.
reason why I chose the title is it comes both ways. There are happiness and there are also some handles. But now there is a God who is able to balance. There is a God who is able to give you grace to go through it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
for
that
letting
was the
us
main
know
reason
why.
for the title. It's
Yeah.
just from experience.
Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe you just because you've taken us through your academic, that girl was single. The girl who did the CPAs, the one who started accounting, that one who loved maths. I cannot relate to your love of maths. That one who loved maths. So maybe tell us a little about Esther and how you became a parent, uninterrupted, just so that somebody can understand why you celebrate both the happiness and the hurdles.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Somebody said that your story is in a story, in a story, in another story. So my story is made of so many stories, but I trust God for grace that will be able to share my story and it will be able to inspire someone. And the beauty of it, I try to even go pictorial so that you can equally relate to what I'm talking about. Because I'll start with my upbringing. I'm born in Nyandarua County. I don't know. Nyandarua County is a very cold place. Could be that's why I love Kisumu, because Kisumu is tentatively warm. So I'm a firstborn among 5 siblings. We lost one. And my growing up wasn't easy. I can say that I was that Kaushago lady who was never exposed completely. I was never exposed completely, but by God's grace, and this is the grace that we are talking about. Yeah. So I started life in Nyandarua. That's where my upbringing is. And even before I share this story, there's always something that I try to tend to relate my life with. And I tend to relate my life with the life of a butterfly. And I always share this because in life, there's something that you relate with. When we were in school, in primary school, we were taught about the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is like the transformational process of something. And so the one that I captured and the one that I relate to date is the metamorphosis of a butterfly. And this metamorphosis of a butterfly, if Wairimu, you can remember, I know you were a teacher at one point, is that
Yes.
there is the egg stage, there is the larva, there is the pupa, and then there is the full-grown butterfly. And it reached a point where I related my life as I'm growing up in those four stages. And so when we go to the egg stage is the minute stage. It cannot easily be identified. You cannot be recognized. And that is your startup, where you grow up, your siblings, your ethnicity and all that. And this is me growing up in Nyandarua County, a firstborn, very cold, very remote, no infrastructure, always in gumboots and Marvins. Schools you have to shave despite the cold, and no electricity. So that was my upbringing, and I relate it now to the egg stage. And then my larva stage is that part of development. It's kind of ugly, and this is me going to college, and that's where I went to pursue my CPA and later advanced my education. But in that college, that's where I met the love of my life. Because that's where I met my boyfriend, and that's where what takes me to phase two. Phase two is here in college as I was pursuing my secondary, my CPA. I met my boyfriend, and as I was close to finish CPA, I was in section 6. I got pregnant, and so I never imagined that I would be a single mom. So as a result, we had to agree, how are we raising this baby? And he's a good man. He said, he gave me the options, like we either get married or I can support you in raising the baby. And because I never wanted to be a single mom, I chose the marriage. And that's how my early marriage, early relationship, early pregnancy, they all started when I was in 22. And because this phase is, like I've said, is scary. You are still wondering, how does your destiny look like, the dreams that you had to get a job and all that. So it's not an easy stage. And so for this story, my more experience is in the next stage, the next phase, and that is the phase of pupa. Pupa is the transformational change. If you study about it, you will find that the pupa hangs in a branch somewhere, so that it can hang and be able to come out as a butterfly. So this is a season of challenge, is a season of mistakes, is a season that nobody wants to relate as much with. And at this point in my life, I'm now a new mother. I'm a new wife. I'm still looking for a job. A lot is happening in my life, and the marriage is not working because, this marriage was not planned. Like, we were all young. We were all not prepared for it. So you can't really blame any one of us that I can't blame him. I can't blame myself. So it was a scary stage. At this point, actually, on this photo that I'm presenting, I was like 2 months pregnant, and we had just gone home to visit my parents. And at this point, I'm not telling them that I'm married, I'm pregnant. I'm just telling them that I got married. So you can imagine how scary that is. And that time has now introduced other challenges and other challenges that I didn't know would be part of my transformational journey. And now with the early marriage, we separated. And believe you me, we are separating also at a point where I'm pregnant again. So I'm leaving the marriage with a child and with another pregnancy. And I was very confused. And when you leave, you don't carry anything. I'm equally starting life. Like I didn't carry even a car. So I started life like sleeping on the floor. It was just one bedroom, one room unit. So the toilet is outside. It was kind of pathetic for me, but I had to start life. So my life is just a story of mistakes, falling, rising, falling again and rising. But this is the stage that has equally transformed my life, because at that point now I had to figure out, I'm a single mom of two. Where should I start? That's when I equally enrolled to go back to college and do my BCom. I had to look for a job. I had to dream big for my children and all that. So the challenges equally came with a positive impact. And I relate that just as Mary had to relocate to protect Jesus, there's a lot that we do as mothers to take care of our babies. And so that was my next stage, which equally I had a lot, like I had to figure out the security of my children, whether to come up with a home for them, because sometimes I would sit and ask myself, like, if Esther, I'm not there today, who will take care of my children? Where will they go? Those scary things is what brought dreams. Sometimes will they go to their grandmother, and this grandmother have equally other grandchildren, so it can't be their home. So the dream to even build up a home as a security for my children is still coming as a result of this single parenting. So it's happiness handles. You try to balance, and with God's grace you are able to maneuver. So that has been a tough journey. And the most funny thing, and this was also like, this was the worst part of my life, is 5 years later, when I thought that I've overcome this, I've rebuilt my life, I'm now doing well. Now you want to meet new love. You think you have healed. And 5 years later, I meet somebody and we equally plan another marriage. We make steps and all that. And then we even plan on having a child, which we equally went ahead and got one. And then the marriage didn't work again. And that was a very difficult time for me, because you are wondering, this is not the first one, this is not the second one, now this is the third one. And you are there wondering, like, how do I rise after making so many mistakes? Yes, you don't see these children as a mistake, but the process. How do you tell people that you are a mother of three and their father is not in the picture? And at that point, I remember I almost went into depression. Like, how do I rise past this? And it was never my dream. And now by that time, I'm in my 30s. It was a scary moment for me. But it is at that point that it was also my turning point in terms of finding purpose. I longed to have somebody to walk with me. I longed for somebody who could understand that this is not my making. I was actually asking God, am I the only one? And I was wondering, I didn't have answers for all the questions that I had. And at that point, I walked through that journey alone. And after I overcame that, I was able to forgive myself. I was able to forgive my partner. I found so much warmth in the hands of our loving God. You know, something about God, it doesn't matter how many times that you fall, He'll surely pick you up. And this one I relate with most of the time when I meet so many people where people write them off. But for me, I just see like there is a divine purpose that God has for each one of us. And it doesn't matter. You don't know their journey. And you don't know the reason why God is taking them through all that. Because my single parenting journey gave another transformation to me in terms of taking care of those babies and in terms of purpose, in terms of serving God, and in terms of serving my community. I could see when I see a young girl struggling out there without food, I easily relate to the moments where I don't have 10 shillings in my house. And I would just long for somebody would come in with some shopping, but I'm here all alone. So I'm able to relate so well with that struggling single parent. When I'm late to my kids' maybe school appointment, because here you have a jobs meeting, you are supposed to go to school, and you see a mom coming in so late in a hurry, and I relate so well. You encourage them that they are trying and they are doing their best. So that journey gave me another a transformation of my mind on what happens out there. And then now for the other thing, for the teenagers, for the young people, it gave me a passion to try and talk to them and mentor them in terms of taking care of themselves, not hurrying to marriage, preparing for the same, not engaging into sex because the chances of getting pregnant are equally high. So I got a drive to even go to high school and talk to our teenage girls. And I always tell them where they are sexually active, there is almost 99% chance of getting pregnant. And then for these teen moms that they have the babies, I try to encourage them through my journey that it's not over, that they can still hang on there. So I think my bit on the pupa stage, I can write books on it. I don't even have time to explain on the failed relationships, to explain on the challenges of single parenting, the financial constraints, balancing between job and spending time with my children. The list is endless. But now, in my story, I cannot miss to feel that there is this loving God who gives us grace and beautifies our story. And just as the pupa transforms to a butterfly, I can say that by God's grace, He has been able to manifest that in my life. I was able to overcome most of those challenges that I went through, the handles in finances, the handles in terms of time management and all that. I found a balance that worked for me. So I'm able to share on the next stage, the stage of a butterfly where God just beautifies my story. You know, by the time I was getting married, I had not actually passed my section 6 for my CPA. So you can imagine going back to school now as a single mom, doing my BCom. You are the one equally paying for your school fees, the time and all that. So I know there are people who can put on their hats of the degree, but others are labored for. I remember when there was a time I went to sit for an exam 5 days after delivering my baby. Actually, my legs were still swollen, but I didn't want to defer. So for us, some of us have worked tirelessly for this cause. So I'm able to celebrate by God's grace the other milestone that despite the challenges that I went through, I was able to complete my course. I was able to advance my education. And above all, God opened doors for me to even travel like internationally and be able to network with other single moms, other teenage moms. And I got even audience where I said, hey, am I the one just who is encouraging these ladies all the way in the US? You are sharing your story. Sheikah, I feel God was in this story all from the beginning. So this full-grown butterfly is now flying, but I'm not flying because as Esther I've made it. I'm there to just share, just as I've written in the book, A Life Gracefully Reshaped. I'm there to encourage a mom that it doesn't matter the mistakes that you've made. You know, Jesus, mother of Jesus hers was divine, but for us is the choices that we make. Unajua huyu mtu hata anakuonyesha red flags, but you still hope. And you even pray about those red flags, and you are left with the consequences. So I'm able to encourage somebody, and this is my message, that it doesn't matter what you went through for you to be in that position, but there is a loving Father who extends grace and who can reshape your life. And on the other hand, for single parenting, sometimes it doesn't come with just pregnancy before marriage. Others were abused. Others are the partner who actually they got married and disappeared. There are so many reasons why one can become a single mom. But you find that we are in a society that just generalizes and stigmatizes the whole thing. They don't know your journey. They don't want even to understand what you had to overcome for you to bring up that child. So I try to see single moms as the strong ones. You know, the society wants them to look like they are the weaker one. But well, on the other hand, they are the stronger one. They are the one who chose to stay for that baby. They are the one who chose to hustle for that baby. I know there is still a percentage of other moms, it's their lifestyle, it's what they want. But there is this category who the majority would really love to have their baby daddies, the father of their children, into their lives where they are being supported and all that. So I try to go there and share this message of hope that you are the stronger one. Don't misjudge yourself. Pat yourself in the back, even when things are not adding up. And above all, when you kneel and pray to God, He has a way of coming through for you. So for me, I'm here to share the story because I feel I went through that transformation, and God, by His grace, is able to beautify my life. And I'm able to go back and hold somebody who is he's not in that position at that particular time, and just encourage them that they are going to make it and they will make it. So that is my journey currently. I'm grateful when I see my children going back to school. And you know, with parenting challenges, they don't end. Now, there was a time it was finances, you could not afford milk. Now you're struggling with teenagers, you're struggling with how they are managing their time and the skills, are doing their homework and all that. So challenges keep advancing, but equally the grace of God for you to maneuver through that. On the other hand, I love what I'm doing with the Tunza Dada community. It encourages me when you feel a life is inspired. Last weekend, I was in a mom who told me that before I came to Tunza Dada, like my life was shattered. I didn't know there can exist a community where people can just come and cry, because for her, she was trying to relate with the kid, just want the father, irrespective of what she's doing. The kid just want the father. So she thought, like, she just needed to cry. And for us, it's a safe space because you find most of these moms, this is what they are going through. The kids want the dad don't want to be into the kids' life. So, and then she told me, because that time we did a seminar where they had to come with the kids, and said, from the time my kid attended that seminar, he just opened up, he became vibrant and all that. So it's touching life one at a time, and we thank God for his grace to help us maneuver in that. So my life and my journey is simply about single parenting. I don't have another conversation. There was a time I was asking God in my prayer, like, you find so many breakthrough in other areas of your life, but on this one, it's a thorn in the flesh. But I'm grateful to God because in 2022, that is when we met. And I knew I wanted to support a girl somewhere and a mom somewhere, but I didn't know how best to do it. And I remember I saw a master class that you had advertised online. It was free, and I joined in. And it was interesting on how you motivated me to pursue my purpose. And actually, you narrowed down, because I used to tell you that I want to work with women, and you would tell me, categorize which women. That's when I was able to reflect back. My journey is just about single moms. And it's single moms because that is who I am, and that is how I relate best with them. I know their challenge, I know their struggles, I know their desires. So you helped me, and actually I thank God for you, because you helped me give birth to Tunza Dada. You helped me to identify even the thematical areas that I wanted to work with. And we are touching life, and God is still in the picture of it. So I'm grateful to God for this and for the milestone. I wanted to share something, because single parenting doesn't have a manual. You can't tell somebody, you follow this roadmap, your kids will obey. You follow this, your finances will work. It doesn't have a manual, but there are things I have identified along the way that has helped me. So allow me to see what I can share this. And just from the title, where we are talking about the happiness and handles, I was trying to look at, from my experience, what do I celebrate most from this journey? And number one is the deep bond with my children. Like, these children just know about mom. You are able to give them your 100% of love, and you are able to receive equally 100% of love. So there is a deep bond, and especially for parents who becomes intentional with their children, this goes out, and it gives you joy to see the kind of work that you are doing. Number two is on the pride in watching them grow despite the challenges. You reflect and look back and see, there was a time, Yani, you were sleeping on the floor, or you could not afford a meal, or you took them into just any school because you couldn't afford fees for a better education for them. But now when you look back, they have finished primary school, they joined good high school. It gives you joy. So when you are discouraged, you feel like patting yourself in the back for the good work that you have done. And then you share moments of laughter, milestone, unexpected joy. With this, it's a kind, you say, Mom, let's go here. Yeah, yani you make a decision, and especially something that you can just play in the house. Yani there's no restriction, and there is a lot of joy when it comes with that. But just as I said, it's happiness on one hand, and also on the other hand, and most of from the moms that I've related with, most of the challenges that we have encountered is financial constraint. You don't know sometimes rent ni wewe, bill ni wewe, education ni wewe, clothing ni wewe. Like every coin that is to be used in that house, it's on you. And we thank God for those daddies who support the moms, irrespective of whether they are together. Salute to them. And I also encourage single moms, if in a case where the father of the child want to be in the picture and want to be supportive, please don't please accept it, yeah, for your sake and for the sake of the child. So most of the biggest challenge is on finances and career balancing. I tell you, Wairimu, there's a time you are needed in school, is a must go, but at that particular day there is a must meeting that you have to attend. And I can tell you so many times that I've been so guilty for not fulfilling the role of a mother in that child at that particular time. Even the other day, it was, what were they calling them? This cultural day. And my son had literally practiced, and actually he trained another foreign language. He chose a culture that is not his own, and he was super excited that I should go. That time in the morning, I had to be in a meeting. By the time I'm getting to school, even the teacher told me, like, hey, you have disappointed us today. And the entire session, I was there feeling so guilty. And I was wondering, did I do the right thing, choosing my job over attending my kids' event and all that? The other challenge, and a big one, is emotional fatigue and loneliness. We all want to be loved. We all want to be supported. And someone will not lie to you that it's easy. Sometimes you are in that bed and you just wish if only there was somebody who will tell you that you will make it and it will get better. So the fatigue is there. The fatigue is there when the kid is so sick. The fatigue is there when your kid has an issue in school and all that. Sometimes you just want somebody to give you that hug. But at the end of the day, if you don't have anyone, you hug your pillow and you move on. Ni life. And then this other bit is, as Tunza Dada, that is what we try to address, the social stigma that we get from others, sometimes even from church. When I say Esther as a single parent, someone will see me as somebody who have failed either in marriage, failed in a way, maybe I gave birth to those kids. They just see failure. They see like, so there is a social stigma that there's something wrong for you to be in that position. And sometimes you did everything right, but it still didn't work. So sometimes the stigma is on the children, the competition. They see somebody's dad doing this, they bring it to you. Even there was a time in school, like somebody tells you it's mandatory to provide details of the father, and this father don't want to be in the picture. And sometimes it's hard and mentally draining for the parents. So I said happiness on one hand, handles on the other, but God in the center gives you grace to manage. So as I conclude, I would try to say from my end, what have I done to try and balance all this? And number one for me, it's my faith in God. Like God is paramount. God is key in my journey. I don't know whether I can two sentences without talking about God. Because even when I'm saying that it's faith in one hand, I try not to put worries and handles in this other hand. I try to put it at the feet of Jesus. And as a result, I'm able to put my next foot forward. So if you are a single mom, I can tell you that this journey will be difficult if you don't know God, because there are times where you'll have no one completely to walk with you. There's no one to encourage you that even without that school fees, your kids will still go to school. So I always talk to my people on anchoring your faith in God. You know, God is the only person who will not disappoint him. Because let me tell you another thing, as a single mom, you'll be taken advantage if you're not careful. Because somebody will see Esther who is struggling to bring up a teenage mom, and they want to come in the name of meeting that need. And because now I'm vulnerable, this is what I want. I may find myself falling into it. But now you see, when you have faith in God, he'll give you discernment for you to know whether this you are doing is right or wrong. So that has helped me put a balance, getting that joy in one hand, and then choosing to put my worries, my care, my pain in the feet of Jesus, and he never disappoints. And then the other bit that helped me in this journey is becoming self-aware. Do you know yourself? Who are you? Yeah. Just knowing that I'm a child of God, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, that God didn't document all those mistakes. You know, people document, they tell you, ukapata wa kwanza, na ukapata wa pili, and this one and this, and they'll count on one time that you failed and another. But when I'm aware that, you know, with my loving Father, he has not kept a record of that. And then knowing that he cares for me, and then that he forgave me where I erred, and then forgiving myself. Because sometimes you will sit and think, maybe I should have done better. Maybe I should not have given in. Maybe I should have taken have the due diligence on that relationship. So I encourage mom, forgive yourself. Yeah, forgive yourself so that you can take care of those children. And then even on this other partner who is not there in the life of the children, just forgive them. Yeah. Have you forgiven your partner? Whether it's an ex-husband, whether it's somebody who just even didn't accept the pregnancy, you will not manage in this journey if you carry the burden. So this many people. So becoming self-aware, it has really helped me. For me, like, my concern is, what is my relationship with my God and my children? And then, like, am I doing what God intended me to do? And then now this other bit is on the self-care. Because as much as there are children there, I still exist as Esther, a young girl with this desire. What will help me like maneuver in all this? So having a self-care routine is what will help you put a balance to this. There are times, even if those kids, you love them, you don't want to see them. You need a break. So going somewhere, for me, what works for me is when I work out. It doesn't matter whether I work out at home or go to the gym. Like, the moment too I sweat, I feel just so good. And then I love sleeping. For me, I cannot exchange sleep with any other thing. If I'm not committed with all that I'm doing, I love sleeping. So that is me. Somebody else would love watch Netflix and all that. I would watch, but I even don't do series most of the time because it may affect what I love most. And then if you're somebody who enjoys going out, adventure and all that, singing, anything that can bring that hormone, the happiness hormone, you just do it as a mother. Yeah. And then what will summarize all this is what will motivate you in life. And that is your purpose and your calling. You know, when you try to look back and figure out what is life, because life is not the money we chase. It's not even these children. By the time they are 18, they can't wait to leave the house. So what will help you is when you find your purpose. And my purpose, I found it in serving God. And serving God came when I identified this cohort that I can work with other teenage moms and single moms. So my key lesson in my single parenting journey, and this I can encourage all moms, is let's heal for our children. We have been hurt in one way or the other. Whatever led to you becoming a single mom, just heal for your children. Sometimes we want to take it out on them. You want to use them to revenge on your partner. But you know, we are bringing them up, and now you're spoiling now the next generation. But when we heal when we heal, our children will equally heal even from these fatherhood gaps, because you'll sit and tell them like, it was not your dad's mistake, it's not my mistake, but this is where we are at this moment. And then this other bit, because we it's the stigma around is how we date, how we move around. We all have our different levels of how we want to do it, but let's do it with dignity, and especially in front of our children. Sometimes we find moms, yes, because you don't have a partner, your kids can see. Actually, they can even tell from the phone who you are talking to. And whether it's a real uncle or an uncle, they don't see that. So let them not see that big picture, that even if we don't have a father in our house, that has not opened doors for our mom to be this and that. Yeah, so that is what I encourage moms to be. And then you can never go wrong when you serve God and you serve your community right where you are. You will find there is somebody to encourage and somebody to work with. Even if it's that young girl you are seeing, a high schooler, you just find a way of, your story is there to inspire somebody at whatever level that you are in. So serving God brings a lot of fulfillment in your life, because there's something that I noted, and this changed my life, is that your pain is not for you. Your pain is for somebody else. And then those who learn from that pain will go far. So I'm trying to learn how to share my story. It doesn't matter whether somebody will judge me. I'll be able to tell that girl, like, focus on your education, do the right thing. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I serve God through Tunza Dada. And Tunza Dada, what we do, we are just a community-based organization. I have a group of friends and partners who help us do this. We offer psychosocial support to the teen moms and single moms. And this is just about like mental wellness. When that child is so disobedient, doesn't go to school, and you don't know who to talk to, we have now that community that we can come and share. So that is the main agenda of this, is just psychosocial support. And then, because we said one of the handles is financial constraint, we try to do some economic empowerment program, because there's that teen girl who is in school, actually doesn't have a shilling and needs diaper for the kid. Now, you can't just tell them God will provide and the baby is hungry. So we have tried to come up with ventures that even if there are no jobs, you can create something they are able to sell. Like we do peanut butter, where we allow them to go and sell, return the cost, enjoy the profit. So even if somebody wants like 500, sometimes you don't have, but you can tell them what to do. So we provide that platform, and we are intending to go big on this, and we trust God that He will open doors for us. And above all, just like I said, there's nothing we can do without God. So spiritual nourishments, we do like online Bible study. We study about women in the Bible who equally went through other challenges, but they overcame for that. I try to wonder, like I give a hint of like the story of Ruth. Ruth, the husband died when she was still young, and they didn't have a baby. So I try to, what did Ruth go through? Like, and then later on, her journey, the mother-in-law advising, go to this man, woo the man, let the man decide. So I try to see the biblical aspect and trying to bring into the modern woman. But eventually, it's just to encourage ourselves and also to learn to walk in the ways of the Lord. So basically, that is my single parenting journey. It is not easy, but what I can say, God has been faithful in my life. And I'm here to encourage any other person who is going through a hard time in their lives, even if you're not a single parent, just know that there is a God who changes story. And sometimes we are not given chapters. We are not told that your story, chapter 3, will follow like this, then chapter 4. But there can be people who can work with you to help you go to the next chapter of our lives. And so if you'd love to join Tunza Dada or support Tunza Dada, we have our social media platforms. If you'd love to be partners, currently we are just friends who come together, give small from our salaries to touch lives. And I believe that my story will have inspired somebody. Thank you, Wairimu, even for having me. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Esther. This is really nice. For those who have not got those contacts, we'll still make sure that we put them up in the description. But I've loved listening. You're very easy to listen to, very lovely to listen to. And I'm thankful for how God has used you and your story, how you've owned up to the mistakes. The other ladies who are with us, I don't know whether they were laughing like me. Uh, Especially when you said you found another new love and then you got pregnant again. Okay. Very interesting story. So I had a few questions on the way. I hope as we are honoring our time that I hope you don't mind answering. So I was
Sure.
thinking as you were talking, because I think you PTR'd through saying you had to leave and you had to start afresh where you are sleeping on the floor and things like that. In your journey as a single parent, what were some of the low moments that often come to mind?
When I don't meet the needs of my children, it puts me down. And it can be as much as like the fatherhood love that they need. Uh, as much as we may try, you can only be a mother. You can try your best. You can pay the best food there is and provide food, but you can't be a dad. And sometimes that can keep you down to know that at this point, there is nothing you can do. So for me, that is a low note for me. But now what I've equally tried to do is just hook them up with some mentorship, father figures that they can equally, and especially for boys, they long to be with their dad.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's nice because, like, because I'm trying to imagine how at that point when you're now on your own, whether it was the first time or the second time, um, what made you pick yourself up, except the babies? Is there something that just pushed you to pick yourself up and not linger in the pain?
Hey, my friend, where I come from, Nyandarua County, I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back. So I wanted a bigger life for myself, a happy one. And relating at my growing up journey, and now I've gone to Nairobi and things are not adding up. when marriages fail, most of the time, people want to go back home. Actually, parents invite them back home. But for me, when I look back where home is, it's not a nice place, but the environment, the weather, the roads, and all that. I had to pick myself up not to find myself going there because I am not managing it. Yeah, so it's the future that I had dreamt of myself. I didn't let that go. I didn't, despite the mistake, I didn't let that go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, so that then there are those who are currently in that situation, so that they don't feel like they are being selfish. They can pick up themselves. They can start afresh from zero, but dream bigger. Be clear about the vision that you have for
Absolutely.
their life. So the
Absolutely.
other thing, like I'm telling you, I love that you love love.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're that you love. And one of the funny things that you said is we pray for the red flags. We are seeing them. God has brought them to light, but we are praying for God to either remove the red flag or, so in your, not as you, Esther, as a single parent, but if you were to advise other younger girls, what are some of those red flags that they need to not pray about, but just see, acknowledge, and just run away already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you now, this one now is it's quite a wide topic on the because nowadays you try to figure out like now who is a good man and who is
Yeah.
a good lady,
Mm.
and sometimes you may not pick the balance. You don't know what to balance. You meet somebody who is well supportive, promiscuous,
Yeah.
all not promiscuous, lazy, and all abusive, and you find that somebody has a good of this and a bad of this. But now for the single parents, uh, you have children that you have to take care of. So for me, I would love number one, as much as we are vibing with this person, how will this person equally relate with these children? Some come in with an intention that they will take care of the babies.
Yeah.
So when you identify that this person will not have a good relationship with the children, it will put a strain to your relationship. Whether you want it or you don't want it, it will affect your relationship at one because you'll be torn between your babies and now yourself. So for me, for a single parent, that relationship, that this does this man want to coexist in an environment that I have? And ladies, wacha tuache kuficha watoto. Yeah, because now like somebody don't want that to come out at the initial stage. Me want that to be the first thing you will know about me, so that we know whether we are moving this relationship to the next level or not.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with this person, now you're wondering, at what point now should I bring in this? And then now you are torn in between. And then sometimes now he will agree because maybe already you have fallen in love. So it doesn't really show you whether there is commitment to these children or not. So for me, that for a single parent, that is key. And please this I've learned the hard way. Don't introduce your babies this man if he has not shown signs of commitment.
Yeah.
This thing will equally affect the kids. But now the other bit, it remains constant on all these other relationships. Like this man has to be a supportive. Nowadays, it's never like 50-50 or whatever, but he's trying, he's giving his best. Because things are changing. Today you have a job, tomorrow you don't have a job. But as long as somebody is really working hard, that goes a long way. And for me, the values that I go for is their relationship with God and not speaking in tongues, because now they are also full there in church and you cannot actually equally recognize them. But those virtues, how being kind, being loving, being forgiving, or you'll find them when somebody have a good relationship with God. So if somebody doesn't have those, even if somebody have a weakness and they love God, God has a way of making us just kneel down and seeking repentance. But you find there some people, their ego is up there. They're wondering, what are you telling me? Yeah. So for me, that is what I would look for. And if you're not having that, for me, I would run.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
like those are some of the things, somebody who is listening, who hasn't given up on love, should at least go with your eyes open for
Yeah.
yourself, to guard yourself and also your children, because you would
Absolutely.
be hurt together. So how do
Yeah.
you have these hard conversations with the babies when
Yeah.
somebody is living your life? How do you tell your children? Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's tough because number one, you are there because maybe there's a reason why their father is not in the picture, and you have tried to explain that. So if now you introduce another party and that person is equally living, they'll reach a point they are wondering. So the issue now is our mom. Can't be every person they are not getting along. And that's why I've said, like, I would I would wish, like, we can stop introducing these men to our children until this man have fully committed into a relation, because
Yeah.
for them they're still babies.
Yeah.
If it's hard for you as an adult to understand, why did I fall with this person in love, and then he's equally living, so you can imagine for the babies. And sometimes they try to be so good to the babies. They will bring gifts, they will want to play with them. Now, when they leave and there was a gap already, it will be so difficult for the babies. So having those conversations is not easy. So the best thing is to wait mostly until this man have shown commitment. But in case it happens, me sometimes I appreciate being vulnerable to my kids. I'm human. I make a
Yeah.
mistake. I'll tell them, my daughter, I thought this is the way to go, but I didn't go like that. But it doesn't stop me from existing, yeah, such that we equally give them chance that they can make mistakes and still come back. So I'll share with them.
Okay. Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying that. I love allow me to go back to some points that you gave. Number one, you said it's not good for where the parent, the father, because now we are talking to moms, where the father wants to be in the lives of the children, that as mothers we should not refuse.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah. So are there things that you can guide a mom, whether it's through Tunza Dada or as Esther, like this is the conversation you need to have with this parent before they are given access to their child, because what if they hurt them again? Are there, either you've gone through yourself or you've guided other moms, like have this conversation with this parent who wants to come back, even if you're
Um,
not getting married, you're just like, he just wants access to his children now, he's grown up, matured, he's seen.
Sometimes Wairimu is hard to know, and it's hard to know whether this man is ready for his children. And you still don't want to force it because you don't want to hurt these children. Number one, he has been absent, and you figure out, am I introducing this person and then this person will equally disappear again? And now the kids will even have more questions. They'll feel rejected. They will walk
Yeah.
with a feeling of knowing their dad, but feeling rejected too. So if your partner is ready, you can have the conversation yourself first. And then, to the extent, have you healed, the two of you? Because you'll find that there are people who are still blaming each other. You left me. Now I can't give you school fees. I can only support if you are here. You see? So if you put your kid in such a mix, it will bring issues. And also consider that most of these, our past partners, have moved on. They have families. Now, the coexisting of this family, you see, it's not a very easy scenario. So it's only easy if these two people have healed and can have a conversation that at this point, it's our kid that we have interest on. Now, that one will be so easy. So personally, from where I see it, if somebody has not shown interest, I'll not pursue that, because you will probably open another Pandora box, and it will be more hurting to you and the babies. But I've said, if somebody is willing, you actually show commitment, because this child is in school, and school is opening this week. Did that person try even to reach out, or to even send school fees, or to even say, may I see the kid before they open? So there'll be some green flags to let you know that this person is open for that conversation. But if it's not there, me would say that you don't force. Sometimes it hurts the kids more. Yeah. And last week I was trying to work with a kid who didn't want to do anything because he was feeling so rejected by the dad. Because now he knows the dad, he knows where the dad works and what the dad does, but now the dad doesn't want the same to the kid. At that point, it will be so difficult to work with this baby. Yeah, yes.
Okay. So it's still the same. You have to really, as a single parent, you have to really think through what is the best thing for my child.
Yeah. And heal and seek counseling, even for the babies. Seek counseling and see whether the other partner, you are at the same level, whether they want the best for the child.
Yeah. Because that point on healing, heal for your children. You said heal for your children. It's because a lot of us as moms will just use these children as the punching bags, because they can't do anything. So they become the recipient of our bitterness, our unforgiveness, and things like that. Yeah. So you've worked with moms who are in that healing stage. What was the before and after? Like, especially in their children's lives. For moms, you have walked along with from this bitterness, almost revengeous stage to reaching a place where they've forgiven themselves, they've forgiven the other person, and now they are in their healing stage.
Yeah. You see, for most of these single moms, if we were to unmute and they share their story, the good thing is that Tunza Dada bring that platform. I'm Esther who have shared my story. And sometimes I may feel like I'm the only one who did those mistakes, or I'm the only one that their marriage didn't work. But if another unmutes and talk and another one, I'll equally feel better. I'll equally see actually mine is even better. There's someone who has 5 or 6 children. There's someone who at one point even aborted. So sometimes the sharing of the story helps this mom to heal and to find a support system, a place that they can coexist. So I find that from Tunza Dada, the moment we have created that support system, they actually look forward, because they know this is a place where I'll talk and not be judged. You don't know anymore how hard it is when you appear in a ladies' seminar and somebody is saying my husband, and not that it's in a bad note, but you don't have anyone to talk about and nobody can relate to your story. So I have seen like that healing starts just with sharing, and then like encouraging them to share their story. It doesn't matter at what point you are in your life. When you share, you own it. And when you own it, you want it better. So even creating a platform where you can literally say, people didn't want to say they are single moms.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but for me, knowing the work that I've done, the growth I see in my children, the achievement, I don't mind, because there are mistakes, yes, but the achievement also. There's happiness, as I've seen, that there are challenges and I overcome them. So for the moms, it's just creating that support system. And you can tell because they are able to put now their foot forward and dream for these children. Now, for the children, they go through a lot in school because they're equally stigmatized. You don't have a dad. Also creating a platform where there are other kids in the same category, they are even doing well. And then also connecting these kids to some mentorship. Like there is somebody I'm working with an organization called Powering Dreams, and he's doing a good job. His name is Robert. He works with these teen kids, and he mentors them. So you cannot see that until now you have a community that is doing that. And the kids need father figures. This is where you'll meet men of good character who will take care of these boys. So you can see some transformation of before and after.
Yeah. So when you're
Yeah,
open, it's possible for your children to thrive and for yourself to thrive.
exactly.
We won't dwell on this for so long because it can also almost take another 1.5 hours. But you mentioned it in passing as well, how there's this young single women who are glamorizing being single moms and showing like it doesn't affect us. We can move on in a heartbeat. Yeah, like we can thrive even better. And you said they're not sharing the pain. If any of them were to listen to you, Esther, what would you tell them?
Be honest with themselves. Deep down, deep down, we all long to have someone. I may not struggle financially, but imagine now, like I'm doing this and I'm supposed to be in my kid's school. Maybe I'm supposed to pick a kid who is sick and you're outside your town. At the end of the day, you are not self-sufficient. So deep down, we all long to have somebody. So even if not for financial support or something, the emotional bits, at the end of the day, in that bed, you truly, truly desire to have somebody. And if you don't desire it, it will not come to you because even God says that He fulfills the desires of our heart.
Oh, wow.
For me, it's my heart desire that this is not my permanent stage. Like eventually, we'll have another sitting, and I'll tell you that I was able to progress. And when I progress, I'll not forget this journey because I still want to use this journey to do better in my marriage and to do
Yeah.
better in serving the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Esther, for sharing your story. For those who didn't catch us at the beginning, you've joined us mid-conversation. I'll urge you to go rewind and start again because it's very powerful. Some of the things that I've learned from you, Esther, is number one, scary things in your life brought dreams. So we shouldn't be afraid of the scary moments in our lives. Sit down and think, how can God and working through you bring out something beautiful out of this? You also said that God beautifies our story. So you
Yes.
don't remain in that place of shame, that place of, because I think society, I don't know how long it will take, but for right now, single moms are still looked at with
Yeah.
terrible eyes, very high judgment, without anybody coming to ask you, Esther, how did you become a single mom? Because there's a
Mhm.
widow, there's somebody who, there's so many reasons how somebody became a single mother. But for
Mhm.
now, to just know God beautifies our stories. You
Mhm.
also said, you asked yourself a question: how do I rise after a mistake? So that was very powerful questions that you asked yourself so that you don't linger in that
Mhm.
space on the
Yeah.
ground, which I think people love being victims too much. So you stay,
Mhm.
while your story is painful, don't stay. Ask yourself, like
Exactly.
Esther, how do I
Mhm.
rise above
Mhm.
the mistake if that's what caused that? Something else I've learned is that God gives strength and grace to manage. So whether there are
Absolutely.
people like you who are thriving right now, as you found your career theme that's
Yeah.
making you succeed in your career, succeed as a mother. But there are those
Mhm.
who are starting, there are those who are now putting the mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
And I love that you've encouraged them that God will give them the grace, God will give them the strength to manage. The same way we read about how Jesus looked to his mom. He must have seen pain. God is still
Yeah.
looking at you even now,
Mm.
at your point of
Yeah.
need. And he
Mm.
has compassion and he'll give you. For Mary, John was given. Whatever the solution, God will provide a John type solution to that
Right.
single parent who is starting afresh. Yeah, and then that we can find love. Can
Yes,
find love.
absolutely. It's possible. It happens every day.
Yeah.
Eventually, your day will come, and eventually,
Yeah.
my day will come.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I've loved. I had started trying to when you're giving your story to separate hurdles and happiness, but they're all intertwined. Some happiness
exactly.
has come through a hurdle, so I
Mhm.
stopped dividing at some point and started writing questions and lessons. So
Mhm.
thank you for your time. Thank you for you'd have been in the office at this point.
Yeah.
That you chose to come and share your story so that in the same way God has been able to use you and reshaped your life for his glory, that there's another lady
Amen.
out there who feels stuck, who feels ashamed, who feels
Mm.
they're at the bottom, but God can reshape you, beautify your life, and raise you up to be an Esther, which is a big name that you carry over another Esther in the Bible.
In
But
the Bible, yes.
yeah, I pray that
Mhm.
somebody has been blessed, somebody has learned something, somebody has been ignited. So, can I ask you the question? If you knew, Esther, the cost that it would take to live the life you're living now, would you still say yes?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I
Would
love my
still,
journey. I love my life, the
yeah,
challenges, and where I am right now.
yeah,
And I can't wait to where I know God is taking
yeah,
me. So
yeah.
even if the costs, it doesn't matter the cost because I know he who said he has good plan, it's a good plan. So I still say yes.
Amen, amen. So, any
Mm.
last words? Any last words? Then I can share your contacts again and we can close the conversation.
I would love to talk to a single mom and encourage them. Like it is never easy for anyone. It was never easy for Mary, mother of Jesus, and but what we are assured that God is in our story. Eventually, it will end beautiful, and your kids will grow, and you will make it, and you'll find love. So keep telling your story. Somebody needs to hear it. And for the community, please don't judge single moms. Extend love, extend grace, extend support. Support single parents, not with pity, but with opportunities. Uh, I, that is my prayer that don't pity. When you see an opportunity, support and don't judge. Yeah, that can be my final word.
Thank
But,
you.
and last bit, there is something I love to use, and it's just two words called but God. I may have come from a dark scenario, but God. You may be lacking school fees, but God. Every time you put but God, just expect a turnaround of your events. So try to use but we may sleep hungry. I always put but God, even if I don't have answers of how my tomorrow will be. Yeah, so that one keeps going. God has a way of turning things around. Yes, thank you.
Amen. Amen. And how can people get your book so that they be further encouraged by your
Yes, I
story?
have a book. It's somewhere here. A
Mm-hmm.
Life Gracefully Reshaped. I took this photo of a broken vessel. That is how I got my cover page, like a broken vessel that maybe people can ignore, but God has a way of reshaping it and serving a purpose. So that's how I took that. Even though my life was broken in one way or the other, the potter have a way of reshaping it and reusing you. So my book is in Amazon. Very soon we are putting my book in Nuria, but for now, if
Mm.
I'll put my contact, if you are interested to read the book, I can be able to send it to you.
Okay, good. Yeah, because we'll put up your contact so that they can be able to reach out to you and get a copy of Esther's book, A Life Gracefully Reshaped. So these are some of the contacts, and we shall add more in the description part below. So again, remember, ask yourself that question, that if you knew what it would cost you, would you still say yes? So thank you so much for hanging out with Esther and myself. It's been a lovely, lovely conversation. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may he show you amazing, amazing favor in your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for hanging out with